leaders of parliament that represent these people, who you say we have an advantage of converging with other members of parliament from different religions. Northern Uganda has 4 sub-regions. That's Lango, Acholi, West Nile, and Karamoja. And all these have focuses, the parliamentary focuses. They have members of different committees. Have you taken into consideration that maybe if we had not...
Like for him to just hear from the corridors whatever is happening, have you perhaps engaged him before you come to a conclusion that against the siblings?
That's the last one.
Yeah, the last one. My name is Edward. Someone is wondering how will the
Which
Dream TV?
Dream?
Yeah. Someone could be wondering how will a single city in Northern Uganda solve all the problems of Northern Uganda?
To clear the air, we are not talking regional, we are talking for the country. That is why I made a statement at the beginning that the sitting in Northern Uganda will address the issues in Northern Uganda for 3 days. 3 days of addressing issues of Northern Uganda. The sitting in Eastern Uganda will address the issues of Eastern Uganda for 3 days. Similarly, Central Uganda and Western Uganda. So our sitting here, we are not talking about only Northern Uganda, we are talking for the country. We are national leaders. When you're elected as a member of parliament, you leave being a leader of your constituency, you talk for the country. And that's why on the floor of parliament, we talk for issues of Central Uganda, Western Uganda, Eastern Uganda, and Northern Uganda. But in this particular issue, why we are worried, the issue about the meeting in Northern Uganda was communicated to parliament last financial year, I think. Before that, we went for session, for recess. The same issue was communicated in the budget speech. It was communicated in the State of Nation address by the Speaker of Parliament. We are wondering, this is August, why the sitting, which has been extended for 3 days, from our consultation on Monday, with the Speaker, she extended for 3 days, 28, 29, and 30th. Somebody is coming yesterday to address the nation and trying to say we should boycott. And I tell you, this is a drama. The Commission of Parliament of Uganda sat and agreed on the program for this year. And in the commission, leader opposition is a member of the commission. And he has one commissioner. I don't know. I still believe he has a commissioner. Because the Honorable Matthias Mpoka is a member of GNUP. He has never resigned from there. I don't think. So, if Commission of Parliament sat and agreed to have a program in Northern Uganda, that means GNUP was consulted, leader opposition was consulted, because he is member of the Commission of Parliament of Uganda. So it doesn't make sense when somebody come here and tell the nation that I wasn't consulted, I'm not part of the organization, I don't know what is happening, I'm hearing it on the corridor when it was brought on the floor of Parliament, in my presence, and in the presence of these members. And nobody protested it at that time. I think you understand my point there. Can we finish, please? Speaking in Northern Uganda in Gulu, the people of Kampala who watch your TVs, you listen to radio stations, are here always knowing their issues. But when we're in Gulu, the local passion in Amoro, the local passion in West Nile, in Park is coming there. The local government are going to report for the meeting. I think these are some of the reasons you don't know. The LC5 chairpersons, the councillors, the LC3s will be seated there to listen to their issues being addressed. For you in Kampala, you always bring your members of parliament, your local government, you bring your students. For us, we don't have the capacity because of the distance. These were issues I articulated at the beginning. Let me give time for one of my predecessors.
Let me just, the first question I want to attend to, there is an approved budget for Parliament of Uganda. It's about 900 billion. The question I would give back to you, especially the gentleman putting on the blue tie, is that If this activity is not conducted, will the budget approved for Parliament change? It will not change. And if this activity is going to be conducted, will the budget increase? It will not increase. It's the same budget. It's a planned activity. So why is it so difficult for Parliament to have activities outside Kampala, and it's okay for Parliament to have activities only in Kampala? I think that's not being fair. Now, the question of whether this is going to solve the problem of Northern Uganda, I think that's again amounts to being extremely sarcastic. Because, you know, you need to look at the level of attention that this activity that will be in Northern Uganda has drawn towards Northern Uganda. And just like we have said, almost every committee of Parliament is in Northern Uganda playing oversight role. This has never happened. Because the committees have to scatter, you know, have to go in different directions, spreading wide and thin. But now you have an opportunity. Every committee is heading to Northern Uganda. This is a rare opportunity. And for us, it's a big step forward. It's an achievement. So if you want to ask about the benefits, that is where the benefits begin from. But you can imagine 3 days talking about one part of the region. 3 days. We have never had that before. But not just talking. Taking every government infrastructure that side, paying attention so that the decisions are given more attention. So I would want you to, I would request you to also start to think positive and not just, probably it's going to put some cost on you, gentlemen, because you'll have to travel to Gulu. But you know you are part of Gulu, just like I am part of your village. And so let's accept that we are all Ugandans, and we should, exactly, we shouldn't fear going to any part of the country. Uganda. Honorable Akol is from Northern Uganda. Has he had time to sit and dialogue with them and get to understand what is going on? He has not. And that is leadership. He should do it. Not just hold a press conference and issue your own opinion. Who do you then lead? So he needs to interact with the leaders and get our opinion. Otherwise, he's likely to be misunderstood if he doesn't talk to people. And finally, when we are talking about wastage of resources, we should not apply the principle of selective memory or selective justice. If the leader of the opposition was coming up to say, I don't want to have a budget for donation, because the leader of the opposition also has a budget for donation. If you are talking about trimming and making sure you have realistic budget, you should talk about, you know, what we consider not really very relevant. That includes the allocation to RIM in form of donation, money for donation, as he talked about it. So there are a lot of things we need to talk about, but we are concerned as leaders from Northern Uganda, but this is not just all about Northern Uganda. This is about the spirit Parliament is demonstrating, and we think we should support it. So that's what I wanted to add.
On behalf of the 43 members of Parliament from West Nile, Parliamentary Caucus, I'm the Vice Chairperson. I extend apologies to us from our Chairperson, Honorable Feta Godfrey, who should have been here with us for this important exercise. Unfortunately, he got taken up by other commitments. I want to thank my colleagues and brothers from the Greater North for this important press conference for us to issue statement to the public on the decision of the leader of opposition to demobilize his team in participation in parliamentary business. I don't consider this that just a matter of boycotting the meeting in Ikulu, but demobilizing his team in participating in the parliamentary business. We, the over 500 members of parliament, represent the citizens of Uganda, the close to 46 million citizens of Uganda. They are the ones that have given us the power. These are people who come from our communities. These are people who come from our constituencies. These are people who come from our regions and want to appreciate the brains behind formulation of the 1995 Constitution, for first and foremost recognizing that power belongs to the people. And secondly, recognizing that as representatives of the people, we come from the region. And if you go to the appropriate schedules of the Constitution, we have 18 sub-regions that the Constitution recognizes. The Constitution goes further, ladies and gentlemen, to give us Ugandans the opportunity to create regional tier governments that are supposed to have parliaments, administrative structures, and service delivery structures, with a special preference for the central region, the Buganda Kingdom, Busoga, Bunyoro, amongst others. Although in this, the northern region has not been given affirmative action in terms of regional governments. As a parliament, we are a parliament within a multi-party political dispensation that recognizes the importance that the opposition plays in government. And the opposition's delivery should not be in a disorganized way. That's why we have an office, it's a constitutional office of the leader of opposition, which Ugandans look at as a government in the making, an alternative government. But as a leader of an alternative government, if we begin demobilizing our forces against the government that we're looking to take over, is very, very sad and regrettable. We want to thank the Speaker and administration of the Parliament for the decision that it took to take Parliament to the people, and not only to Northern region, to the Eastern region, to the Western region, leave aside the Northern region that had a monopoly of hosting Parliament. This, ladies and gentlemen, is appreciated further by the decision to take the sectoral committees as a pre-visit to go and find out what is happening in these regions. Because the Equal Opportunities Commission has revealed that there are regional inequalities. Marginalization of Karamoja, marginalization of Acholi Lango, and worse still West Nile, in various sectors of the economy and the development. Taking the regional parliament to the respective regions who will help us speak to the issues that affect our people as Ugandans. My expectation number one is that when the sectoral committees go to the ground, they need to do good work to ensure they identify all strategic and operational challenges and bottlenecks affecting these regions, and a special provision be put in the order paper to present these issues for us to debate. And this debate should be bipartisan. That should include both the government as well as the opposition. So if the leader of opposition is demobilizing his team in looking at the issues, in listening to the issues, and in debating on the issues, in order to hold government accountable, to address the inequities in the north, in the east, in the west, in the central, what kind of government is he preparing to take over? In terms of the resources implications, this is not an emergency activity. It's planned for, it's programmed for, it's scheduled for as part and parcel of parliamentary business. finally, looking deeper into my conscience, what I see in this is an invisible hand of personal fights. I want to appeal to us as leaders to leave our emotions aside when we are national leaders. Let our emotions not override our cognitive functions. We are national leaders. We are not petty leaders. We are not sectarian leaders. We are not leaders that are there to sabotage development initiatives to ensure the North, the East, the West, and the Central move at the same pace. So I stand with the Speaker and the administration of the Parliament to see to it that these regional parliaments are taken to the North, to the East, to the West, and we will continue with our business in the Central. I thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Members, can I take this opportunity to take some questions if they are there? If they are not there, then we end here. Because I'm happy that the communication is very straightforward, clear. But also Parliament, we are going to have corporate social responsibility of Parliament. For Gulu, what we call Kaunda Ground will be fenced by Parliament. That is the addition to our economy. Similarly, we requested the Speaker of Parliament that West Nile, I have been communicating to you that apart from the normal business of Parliament, we will have Parliament in Uganda extending the corporate social responsibility. And in Gulu City, Parliament will fence the Kaunda ground where we are sitting. And we have requested Karamoja, Western, and Lango to identify what Parliament in Uganda can offer as a corporate social responsibility. We expect a similar arrangement to happen in Eastern Uganda, to happen in Central Uganda and Western Uganda. And some of you who have been complaining about Parliament spending anyhow, this time around it will be to help the community and the voters of Uganda. So can I get, if there are questions, if they are not there?
I think we've taken this message in order to secretarianism. Thank you.
Any other question?
My name is Kenneth. I was bikes from TV. Billion expenditure. And you went on 5 billion expenditure. You went on to include on how probably if committees of Parliament would have been maybe facilitated